In the discussion today, I think we can all agree if one fact stands true, it's the government oversteps and outreaches their boundaries when it comes to managing our natural resources. In the discussion today, we talked about many different tactics to combat this. In the future, Rocky educated many of his students that one day will be politicians to stop many of these regulations. We have Andy, who himself, their state farm bureau, keeps a policy book in the desk of every congressman and congresswoman to be sure that they know Farm Bureau is around. But we cannot forget that sometimes things are going to be pushed in at the federal level that are out of our control, maybe by executive order or in the middle of the night. If we use all these tactics, we can combat these different things that will further regulate our industry and damage us when it comes to the management of our own land.
We give the government a hard time, don't we? And they need one. But as we've all discussed here today, we can illustrate a great sustainable model by just showing what farmers are doing on their farms. Rocky, I loved what he said about education in the classroom. You can't start any earlier than with the child. And if that child gets a good and honest account of what farmers are doing in their nation, they're going to grow up to be more friendly to the agricultural industry. Andrew talked about government ownership of land. That's another way the government usurps regulations they can't enforce by just taking the land. And I think through a government aspect, you get farmer-friendly agents in that agency to actually understand what farmers are doing. And Reece, being a first-time farmer, he is about to get into a life that he loves. And a first-time guy really needs a natural resource program that can provide sustainability and a mutually beneficial outlook on the land.
As we've all agreed upon here, natural resources are a vital part of our lives and our income and our future. Limiting the amount of government abilities to control what we do with said resources is different for each one of us in our towns, counties, and states. We've all come up with great different ideas on how we can be reactive and also proactive. We need to keep both of those in mind because you can only be so proactive, and with the ever-changing world and the ever-changing sciences, what we thought we were being proactive on, we might have missed a step, and now all of a sudden we gear back over to that reactiveness and we go after the government and we go after those regulations and we try to limit those as much as we possibly can. Tons of great ideas have been brought forth today, all of which deal with we're good at what we do as farmers and ranchers and agriculturalists. We need to educate both the kids and the politicians on what we're doing and why what we're doing is the correct way to do it. We don't just go out there willy-nilly. We take the education and the knowledge from the older generation and put it into good practice.
The control of natural resources profitably and through scientific practices is exactly what makes a profitable farmer and exactly what drives this industry. We've had a great discussion up here today about maintaining the control of that, whether it's land we lease or land we own. Sustainability. Rocky, excellent comments. Brent, good comments on no-tilling farming. We need to be environmentally sound and sustainable, not just as a publicity tool, but to get out ahead of the argument and let everyone know we're doing our job right. Back at my farm bureau, I'm going to tell some of the old guys when I get home, look into these Chesapeake Bay programs. They don't cost you, but they benefit us, make us look much better as an industry. And at our state level, yeah, we're going to keep printing off those policy books and filling up desks down at the Capitol. From the grassroots on up, we're letting the politicians and our public know. Farm Bureau is here to advocate, stay out in front, and lead the discussion on this.
Let's show these competitors our